Well, hello and welcome back to Michelle Holden Art, and this is where we discover our true art one layer at a time. And in this week's video, I was thinking about, well, what about those days that you just don't have enough time and you know you could be creating? Well, stay tuned for this video because I'm going to show you what I do, and it takes 20 minutes at the most after selecting a few tools, keeping everything super simple. And we won't be using our art journals. We're going to be using these postcards that I got from my art store. One is square, one is, I think this is 6x6 and 5x7. So if you're out of time or really short on time and you want to leave your art space open and just come back or come by it for 10 or 20 minutes, you can still create. So stay tuned for this video and let's get started. Okay, so after you've been doing your intuitive art journaling practice for a while, you will or can build up lots of scraps. Now, I know that this is way too many. And since I've been so busy, I haven't had the time to go through them. And how I sort my scraps is I go by transparency, warm, cool, black and white contrast, soft edge or organic, sort of a bright color that you might throw in. And here's another transparent piece that I might include today because this is from a palette paper and it was from some mono printing, and we're going to get into that. So my intentions for sorting this in the summer once I'm off is in the way I just mentioned, and of course throwing away pieces and really simplifying this pile. From that pile, I selected just a few, and for these size practice or your fast work where you're really not thinking, and being in the hurry can be advantageous because I just don't have time to think, I just want to put it down. So that can work, and you might surprise yourself and do things that you wouldn't normally do. So we have some black transparent. This is deli paper with pastel and white crayon on it as a resist, so I wanted to try that. Some text collage, metallic, and some more text. Whoops. Some circles, some craft paper. I may or may not use that. And you may or may not use every selection, and this selection is still probably too much. And that's my goal. I'm trying to reduce my selection so I can keep things super simple. So my intentions today is to really, these are my practice ones, and I'll show you what I do with them. So here's one, and I think in some other videos I've shown you. I'll try to find them and leave the card, but they're just a brief intro. As you can see, the metallic pen is on there. I am enough. I'm not taping the edges, but I'm leaving them there. And when I have a session of some really nice collage that's very similar on 3 pieces, I'll keep them there, hole punch, put them on a ring, because I need my stuff, if I need a reference, out in the open. If I keep it in a book, I'll never look at it very often, and I want it right in my studio, so it's there for me right away in the open. This is a square, so the commonality between these is the color, pink, orange, and Oxide, some with some blue. just fooling around. And I really love this with the turquoise. This is one of my favorites. So this is a quadrant. So I think, now that I've seen this one, I think I want to play with that more. And these are really how I play, because it's not even in my journal. They're just cards. They're just ideas. So if you're liking this, stay tuned to the end of the video. And I'm just going to time it in real time, 20 minutes approximately, and see what happens. I might get 2 done. I might get 1 done. I might work on 3 at the same time and keep things rolling, which I think I'll do. And if you're new here, I'm Michelle Holden, the artist behind the channel. Welcome. And this is all about intuitive art journaling, mostly intuitive abstract art journaling. I'm really loving this one. Okay. So I'm just going to stop the narration or talking right now so I can speed up things. And I haven't shown you my paints. So since the collage is very simple, black, white, and there we go. Let's get this in. Black, white. This is parchment. I'm really liking that. These are the basic acrylic fluids by Liquitex, black and white. And then, of course, Liquitex again, the yellow Oxide. Okay. And I have had such a busy, busy week. I'm really looking forward to just letting something happen. And you know what? I don't even care what happens. You know, some of you might go, what? But you know what? No, I don't. I just want to see what happens. So I think I'm going to go like this for now. I'm not even going to worry about taping the edges together. I'm going to overlap. I want to activate with a pencil. Okay, so there's 3 layers. And again, I'm just going to do this. There we go. I just need to move a few things so you can still see my palette and I don't go off camera. And I know, subscriber, that you were saying that, and I realize, and so I'm really paying attention, but I'm trying not to let it distract me or ruin my flow. So what I see happening, I went right for the big black shape right away. For me, that is a big, bold move, and I'm liking it more and more. If you want to check out big, bold shapes in blue, I'll leave the card in this video, and you can check that out. And it was before my little series of 16 pieces you can make. And this is just practice. So what we're doing, or what I'm doing, is I'm showing you how I'm practicing my layering process, because it's all in the layers. And transparency is the magic of the layering. At least I think so. Now, I use my, hang on. There it is. I like using this one particular brush for applying my medium. I use a high gloss in the Liquitex, the fluid medium, or it's just gloss medium, but it's really fluid for the thin papers. And if you have anything thicker, for something like thicker paper, even watercolor paper, you need the gloss super heavy gel, but it's gloss. So I was checking out a video the other day, and they were comparing matte and different mediums, but gloss really allows the most transparency in tracing paper, deli paper, parchment paper, any kind of paper like that. Right now I'm just using deli paper, and this is a 10 by 10 3/4 sheet, but you can even get more transparent paper than this. For now, this is okay, but I am going to hunt down an even more transparent paper. Tracing paper. So, in a reference, using this as a reference, but of course you're still not going to, stick to it exactly, because what's the point? You want to keep diving deep, looking for your authentic marks, layers, your voice. And I'm really loving this because there's a drawing element, there's now a stenciling, you can see the pencils under there, and there's both layers of collage and paint. And that's also something that comes over time. So I think I am going to use some kind of white on black because I'm really liking, but first I think I will add a little bit of color. And that's going to be, right over here, I'll move that over, the yellow Oxide. And I think I want to mix it. And I hope you can see. So it's a neutral, and I am going to use that parchment. And I don't want it so yellow. So, no, I grabbed a piece there. Okay, so we'll leave that over there. And I use a glass palette, but I'm discovering that I could use some mediums that slow the drying, the retarders that slow down the drying process of the acrylic, and it does last longer. Of course, there's the other method where you can have a tray, the blue paper towel, and then some tracing paper or parchment that's soaked in water with parchment paper on top. And that's really, really good. But I'm just using a little bit of paint. I'm getting better at knowing how much I need. And here we go. So you want to overlap while still, you know, leaving all the elements. And I'm really liking this. This paper is super smooth. It's postcard, so it's going to bubble and warp and all of that. But see, these are just experiments. But the color shapers glide over them, leaving some really interesting textures, physical textures and visual that you might want to experiment with. So when I drag it, so I notice that there's too much on there now. So I'm going to see if it can handle a little bit of water. Yes. So this is just a damp rag. And I'm liking this gradation effect here, though the first swipe of the color shaper was better, but that's cool. So then you make a note of that in your self-reflection PDF, which you need to get. So you need to, if you would like to keep track of things that work and keep it in a book. So this little set here, I'll put on the ring like so. And then using those guidelines from the PDF, you would write on the back what you want to pay attention to, what do you want to try next time in your journal or on a painting. So I'm liking that, but I'm wanting a little more dark lines, slight diagonal, which is cool, that I can push back. Okay. So I'm liking the yellow, or the yellow oxide, or the neutral, and I'm liking the texture marks that this color shaper makes. So I know I have my collage, so I'm going to move it because I'm using the dryer, and then we'll bring it back. Okay. And why square works, especially for your exploration, is that you keep rotating it until you get a different perspective. This was a stencil, girl stencil, and this piece of tracing deli paper was used on my jelly plate. So we'll be getting more into that. And I know I've been talking about my course for a long time. I'm just past, I'm going to say halfway done. And it's taking some time, but it'll be out soon and I'll let you know. So get on my email list so you can be the first to know. I'm really liking this really thin paper here. Okay. And I like using common. Now these might be too close in size, but we can always cover them up and shrink them down. makeup sponges or brushes, and I'll demonstrate with both. I think I will use my brush, and I like to use them just slightly dampened, but then I dab it off, and I'm going to use the white.
Overlapping different areas. Interesting. It's very subtle.
So let's see, how many layers is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. Okay. All right. I love my white circles, and I love putting them in a little spot. Now these got painted on, so I'm going to see what else I had here. See these little strips that you might have saved? Interesting. I just don't know if it's going to go there. And that is old dictionaries, old books. Oh, I just love going on my book hunt. Now you see how that's balancing that out, so I'm going to put that there. And I call this intuitive placement. I don't know what else to call it. It's just, it works. And you're holding the collage pieces around. Now, of course, after a while, when you get into your practice, you're able to identify why it works. But when you're just starting, or not even just starting, because I don't want to do that. To me, that alone is enough to turn me right off. There's just so much overthinking. It's great to just do it, be expressive, and think about it later. And then use your self-reflection, notes on the back. Really liking that. So I think I want more on another piece. Now I only have these two, so I might do the same thing, but with another piece of collage, and then come in with the lid. So you can repeat. Repetition is amazing with this process. Right there. Notice it was both the same. I don't know if they're going to look too similar, but I'm not even worried about it. And I'm not going right to the edge, just so we have a little bit of that finished kind of feel. So I'll demonstrate, even with a different paper, how you might go about that. I'm going to do it. Let's see, how could we do that? I'm not even going to use the text. It won't be exactly the same, and it won't even be the same size, but it will emulate the same thing, the same feeling, message, pattern. And I'm not worried about the shininess. Actually, I sort of like it. And if it makes my layers more transparent, I'm using it. Okay. So that's 6 layers. Now we need a little bit of, let's see. So this is where I'll just grab some things. So now it has a lot of black. See, that would have been an amazing. I don't want to touch this piece of collage. I just love it, so I'm going to save it for a larger surface. Oh yeah. This was the deli paper with some crayon. So I'm going to just, I like how they're going to go in a corner, maybe. 2 of them anyway. And if you want to fit them in the corner, what I like to do is just trim it. And I like to have a dark background to put them over. So let's just do a little bit of a wash. I don't even know if it'll go there. Nope, I don't want to touch that. Okay. And this paper and your washes dry super fast, so you just have to you don't even need the dryer. Okay, I think I know where I want to try this one. And it's going to go right there. And I know it's a thin piece, but I want to just use my brush here. And I want to overlap. Oh, so some wrinkling happened. Ah, okay. So this heavy-bodied, heavy gel is a little too heavy for a thin piece of collage paper like that. So I'm going to definitely stick with the more fluid. And I want it to, so it melts better, where the other didn't even allow the melting because there's less water in it. So let's see if I can go over with some, see the difference? Uh-oh. Oh, that was close. Okay, that was not good. So definitely this one's more transparent. And this is a good thing to do also to explore your, once you make your collages, your collage papers, your rich ones, your patterns, your marks, your transparent ones, and then you sort them, however you're going to sort them. Of course, there's no rules. Then you can just use these little things to just, okay, these sequence of layers really work. Now, how is my, how transparent is this? And, you can just explore. This piece is tissue paper with a coat of my gloss medium mixed with a little bit of paint, carefully sectioned off. I did a whole bunch of them and added some color. Now these are random dots, which really are a great difference to go with these other patterns. So I'm going to just add a little bit of those. And they look great in the white because of the high contrast. That's what I really love. And we're almost done. I'm going to not take these too far. So I'm just going to put some of this out so I don't have to keep doing that. And I love how you can see the layers underneath and that there's some white. Okay. All right. So this is asemic writing, or actually real writing. Stream writing. That's what I did. And this has a few layers of collage on it. But now you see, if I go and add it, yeah, I think it says piece. It would have been a good one instead of, but I don't want to add any more. It'll be too busy. But I am going to add a little bit, since this is so different. I just love it. And I'm just going to cut them in strips. I might leave a square. I'm liking them, yeah, right in there with a similar gray background. Cool. So this is like a glazing or a wash. I don't know which one it is, but we'll worry about that right now. There it is. Yes, it seems to fit within the text piece of collage. So the value is very similar, and it doesn't really interfere in whatever composition this turns out to be. But I think we're almost done. What I really like to do, I never really got into the yellow ochre. So I'm just having a last minute idea, and I will zoom in a moment. Just going to add just a line, and I'm echoing what's already there. That's what I sort of like to do, and I like to put the bright color near another piece, and I like to just overlap. Now, I usually do this with a marker, so I'll come in with some Posca markers in a moment and see where we're at. Okay. And so we have some black. Let's say if I wanted to strengthen these a little bit. A little bit. Just a cluster for a focal point. Oh, that's it. Okay. Oh, wow, that way looks really cool. And you can spin them around. Which way? That way. And that way. No. No, it looks too similar. I'm going to go this way. Okay. So, will I sprinkle them? To sprinkle or not to sprinkle? Let's see. I just love it. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to anyway. But just not so much. Oh, interesting. Oh. So as you can see, some shapes start happening. So then I might let it dry. Tomorrow I might see some shapes that I just couldn't see right now because I'm too close to it. It needs to sit. And I like to do just one, just to overlap. There. Okay, so that's it. So this is just a great way to use your scraps, really let go, experiment with your collage papers, especially your transparent papers, and then in the end, you can, so I'm going to keep them the right way up, just get a hole punch. Let's go with that. That's going up, not down. No, that way. And then I know which way I want them to use up. And you just get these rings. You can order them on Amazon. They're in all the craft shops. And you would write on the back what your layers, how I love my layers, make more of these. I really liked how the crayon worked. It was so easy just to have 20 minutes of non-thinking, whatever your thoughts are and whatever your intention was. And I hope you enjoyed this little quick tip as to when you're on short of time, you can still create intuitively and discover your true art one layer at a time. So I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.